Loaded bases, Megan Girton. How's it going?
Hello.
Hey,
How are you doing?
good, good. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, it's been I think we've talked back and forth on Twitter for a while now.
Yeah. That's how like this first came about was Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Old
So
Twitter friendships.
always see Twitter's the go-to for networking. I swear
Yeah.
that that's better than LinkedIn, Instagram, all that stuff.
I feel like your stuff gets pushed quicker. Like
Yeah,
like it sees a wider audience
easily.
easier, like faster that way. But I don't know.
So what do you do?
That's such a broad question. That's such a
Exactly.
broad question.
Hey, that's the only
Um,
question I start out with on all my podcasts. What do you
o-
do
okay, like with what though? Like
with
what exactly are you meaning? Just in life?
in life?
In life. Okay. Well, I'm a military spouse. My husband's in the Army. See all this crap behind me? This is his office, so that's why it's like this. Um, yeah, we live over here on the left coast. Just
The best coast?
okay, that's up for debate. Um, but yeah, so we live over here. We've been married for 10 years. He's been in the military just as long. Um, I am the program coordinator for More Than Baseball, which is another way that you and I kind of got connected.
Yep.
Is through those guys. Yeah, I'm doing More Than Baseball stuff. I wear so many hats in that organization,
Yeah.
but it's a freaking blast. Let's see. I'm currently looking for other opportunities. Just moving forward with baseball career,
Yeah.
another steps or whatever. I have 3 kids. I'm a mom, dog mom.
Busy.
I'm doing a lot. So
So so how did you get in with More Than Baseball? How
okay,
did that
I
whole
love this question.
Yeah, I mean, like, how
Um,
did that whole thing start? I mean, because
so
even
so
I haven't heard that yet.
okay. So my family and we lived in Germany from 2015 to 2019. We moved back like just before Thanksgiving time.
Mm.
And I went to the baseball winter meetings in 2019. And I met a wonderful lady named Jen Wolf. And I wasn't really sure. I knew I wanted to be in the professional realm of like sports, but I wasn't sure exactly where I would fit in and where I believed like some of my strengths would come from.
Mm.
And the fact of like me being an entry level position technically, but like with a master's and almost 30 like life
Yeah.
experience behind me, it's like just a tough balance really. So she stood up and she asked a question in some panel that we were talking to, and she had mentioned like, oh, I'm the life skills coordinator for the Indians. And I was like, man, that sounds really cool. And she kind of explained a little bit in her question. And afterwards I stopped her before she went out the door and I was like, hey, like what you're doing sounds awesome. Like sounds exactly what I want to be doing, blah, blah, blah. So I got her information, we connected, and then we've stayed connected. And I want to say just after the beginning of the year in 2020, like sometime in January, I emailed her and we were already in Georgia. So I knew I was going to be there for at least the year and whatnot. And
Yeah.
so we were talking about that kind of thing and like, what's the best angle for me to go with and whatever. And so she actually said, have you heard of More Than Baseball? I have a friend that works there, Jeremy. I have a friend that's like the co-founder and whatnot. Like you should get connected with them. And I think she may have sent me his email. And I was like, all right, sounds good. So I finally went and I looked at the website.
Yep.
And one of my professors at UT was on the board of like advisors.
Oh wow.
And he's a huge basketball guy, the professor. And so every project I turned in was about baseball.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're so passionate about baseball. I wish I knew like way more about the sport to help you out. Well, I emailed him and I was like, first off, what the hell, man? Like,
Small world.
like I've been talking about baseball the whole 18 months of this master's program.
And he
you're
never once mentioned it.
advisor. No, never. And again, like advisors, they're very hands off, right? So they're kind of come in when needed or whatever. And he was like, oh yeah. He was like, I totally like, I'm on so many boards. Like I totally blinked. And I was like, no problem. So he gave me Jeremy's number and he was like, literally call this dude and like, you're good. Like just call him and talk to him and see what's up. And so Jeremy and I got on the phone, I think the next day, maybe I texted him or something, I don't know. And we talked for like an hour about all sorts of stuff, more than baseball stuff, life, whatever. And I was like, this sounds freaking awesome.
Yep.
And so that's just kind of how it started. He was like, well, I'll just like bring you in. And that was it.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Dang.
And let's see, this is March 2020. Yeah. March 2020. And we just like got the ball rolling from there. Yep. And I was just tasked, for whatever stuff they needed kind of thing. And then probably 6 months in is when I met like Simon and Slade. And then I started working with everybody from that point. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah. It's I think from my first conversation with Jeremy, it was it just got the ball rolling. I think like for my podcast too. It was definitely. Just like I think the way that he talked about like more than baseball and then like the passionate side of it.
For sure.
It definitely got me like hooked.
Exactly. He was just like so into it, like just so passionate, like you said about it, that I was like, okay, your passion is like rubbing off on me. I'm in for this.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it. And so I was just telling him about what I'd like to do, life skill stuff or whatever. And he's like, that's basically exactly what we do here. Like exactly what we do. I was like, all right, cool. And so that was kind of the end of it. And we just, it went up from there.
Now it's a lot bigger than what it was.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's just so many benefits to it right now, especially because it's bigger than it was, but it's still small in, whatever relationship to other things. So it's so beneficial because I can literally text the founders of this organization almost any time of the day with a question, with follow-ups, with updates, with whatever. And I'm going to get a text back.
Yeah.
We're going to talk on the phone. We're going to FaceTime, like whatever it is. And it's so nice to have that as like a first job or whatever into the organization. And it's into the realm of baseball, I guess. Because it allows me to kind of ask those questions that I probably wouldn't have been able to get answered had I been with like a true MLB club.
Yeah.
First,
Oh yeah, because then you have like a supervisor, then you have it's just the whole big like the corporate.
Yeah, there's a chain of command, if you will, that you've kind of got to follow. And sometimes I think in those bigger organizations, because there's so many people that truly work under them, it's a lot of egos that are like, well, I know I'm gonna know the answer and I'm not gonna tell anybody if I don't. Those three guys work so well together where it's like, hey, I don't know this answer, call Slade. I don't know this answer, call Simon.
Yep.
Whatever. And it's just, I wouldn't say easy to communicate because, just because. But we figure it out.
It works. It works.
For the longest time, I was like the only woman. So I was like, you guys are really killing me with the communication. And Jeremy would be the first to be like, I'm so sorry. My bad.
Oh, I think the whole group is like all like down to earth. Like I absolutely love it.
Yeah, definitely. Like Simon the other day texted me because he was going through North Carolina and I used to live over there. And so he was like, hey, what's a good place to stop on the way? Like that kind of relationship doesn't happen if you're in a huge organization. It just
absolutely
doesn't.
So
absolutely I love more than baseball. I could talk about them for forever. Like,
yeah, I mean, cause my crazy ass got their logo tattooed on me.
I know. And I think, okay, so I listened to your, I think your second chat with Jonathan Perrin, I think on here about the tattoo, how you just like said we're going to get it. And Jeremy's like, ha, you won't. And then you just got it. And he was like, what the fuck, man?
It was like, it was literally within probably about 30 minutes of the idea. And then I was texting Jeremy about it, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave work early. I'm just gonna go get it done. And then I took the picture, and then I sent it to him, and then I didn't get a text back. I got a FaceTime, And he was just like, dude,
Yeah.
like, is that real? I'm like, this is not coming off.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That sounds exactly like Jeremy. That's so funny. So how did you think, can I ask you how you got started?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. Like this is going to be a back and forth chat, I think.
Oh yeah. No, hey, that's what I want. That's what I want. Okay. So mine for More Than Baseball was, so I got connected with Jonathan Perrin,
Yeah. Okay.
through, so one of his guys that he learned how to do the financial stuff for him. So
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Fink, um, and then Jonathan Perrin, like when I talked to him, I did more like a research, on like minor league baseball, like with him, and then the name Jeremy Wolf came up, and
Mm-hmm.
then after the conversation, with Jonathan, because like I honestly had no like real like idea of like what exactly like went on like in the minors.
Right.
So then that conversation kind of like sparked the whole like what the fuck. So
Mm-hmm.
then and then Jonathan texted me Jeremy's number, and then we just got like hopped on like, I mean, like a Zoom call like this,
Yep.
in 3 hours long.
Yep.
And that's like, that started the whole entire, like I was hooked. Like I pretty much found my target audience, like what I wanted to do like for the podcast is
Mm-hmm.
like revolved around that.
Gotcha.
And that's how I got in
That's
with More
got
Than
into
Baseball.
it.
Yeah.
So did you want to do a podcast before hooking up with More Than Baseball? You just didn't know what, or you were not just throwing around the idea?
I actually, I mean, like I want to do a podcast, but like I didn't really know like what to do it on.
Right.
So so I started it, and then I think I talked to Jonathan, I think the third person I talked to.
Yeah.
So so that's just how it started. Like
Gotcha.
I'm like,
Okay.
I am glad that it started that way, because I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, like I have no idea how it would be if I didn't do that.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I love getting to like know people and like know where they come from and like how they get started
Oh
and
yeah.
like whatever. But I tend to tell a lot of details. I was specifically told by my husband, don't tell a story like my dad, who like literally tells every single tiny detail of a story where you're like, hey, wrap it
Hey.
up. Find where our point's at, you know? Now that I'm older, I can do that. But you know, when you're in high school, you have to like sit there and listen and you're like,
Yep.
does this have a point? Anyways, so if I like ramble, just be like,
Hey,
all right,
that's okay.
do a little, hey, wrap it up.
Hey, this is your episode.
I know, but it's also it's your people. So I want to be sure that they're like hearing you too.
My people is just me.
Well, the people that are listening to this podcast want to hear what you're saying too.
Well, yeah, but they listen to it for my guest, not me.
You don't know that. Not all the time.
Honestly, I have no idea. So, but this is your episode.
Well, I'm here to answer whatever questions you got.
Okay. When did you realize that you love baseball?
Oh my gosh, I was little. I was like 4.
Why? Why did you
Well,
fall in love?
my dad, first off, my parents are polar opposites. My mom is very quiet, introverted, doesn't really care about sports. She watches it because my dad likes it, but like
Yep.
she doesn't care, right? She can name like maybe 4 players across all professional teams. She's like, whatever. And one of them is Tim Tebow. Okay. So like,
Okay.
my dad though is a huge sports guy. I grew up in like Southeast Houston,
Okay.
Texas.
Oh yeah.
Sports wherever. So when I was about 4-ish, 4 or 5, that's when I started playing softball.
Mhm.
And loved it. Like you just like figure out, which it's so weird to say, but now that I have kids, it like makes sense. Like you really figure out that some of that athleticism is just natural. Like
Yeah.
it's just easy and it flows or whatever. And my dad figured that out with me. And so just kind of took off from there. But he would be like the one who was taking me to games. We were watching, like we would just sit and watch baseball during the season.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a lot of stuff, a lot of memorabilia, like major Nolan Ryan fan. Like he's got a lot of stuff of Nolan Ryan's. So I was obsessed with him when I was little. A lot of Astros, obviously. So Biggio, Bagwell. And so Andy Pettit, actually grew up in the town that I grew up in, went to our high school, was a very big, like, prominent member in the community, even though he played for New York for almost all of his career.
It's a hometown thing.
Yeah, and so we never thought anything weird of it, because we were just like, oh yeah, Andy's here, whatever.
Yeah.
Not realizing as a little kid that he, like, just got back from throwing 10 strikeouts or whatever.
Yep.
Just came back home on an off day. Like, we would just not think about that. And it was just so cool to be around, all that. But my dad was just like, it's always on. We're watching it. We're talking about stuff. And I was always the kid that asked questions. Like, and I'm still the person that does that, but I wanted to know.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
I mean, I don't take it as a bad thing ever. Some people are like, all right, chill out. But like, but I don't take it as a bad thing. I'm not asking for like clout or like anything like that. I genuinely want to know. And so I would ask about, how do you make a batting average? How are all these things determined? And he was never in the baseball industry, so he told me his fan knowledge,
Yep.
And so that's how it got started. I was obviously really big into football too, so I knew a lot about that. Rockets were all right when I was little, so I was like kind of a fan, but like basketball isn't really my jam. But more proud to you.
I can definitely understand that one.
Yeah. I just think that because I was pushed to do it in junior high, it like turned me off. I was like, dude, I don't want like sweaty
that makes sense.
Anyone touching me. Like, I don't, and that's all basketball is. You got like sweaty bodies touching each other. That's just what it is. I'm like, dude, like, I'm already sweating. I don't need another body on me.
Like, I'm good. Like, I just want to be solo. Like,
yeah,
softball, baseball. That's
right.
You're good. Like, you don't have to touch anyone.
Exactly. And I think, growing up and doing it and going through high school, playing in college, all that kind of stuff, you don't realize really, truly the technicalities that can be so game making or breaking.
Oh, yeah.
Until you're done and you're like, oh, if he literally would have caught that ball, like they would have gone to the World Series, or like game would have been done, or whatever. The shift, if he wasn't over the bar. Just stuff like that you don't think about when you're actually like in it, and practices suck and you like just get this game over so I can go drink, like all that kind of stuff. You're not thinking of that. Sorry, Coach Sines, if you're listening to this. That was my college coach.
Because my college coach, like for baseball, like listens to this too. And I mean, like, I've said stories of like us just getting like trashed like on Friday nights to go to like the hockey games. Like like to your point, like if I knew like what I knew now back in the day, it would be a little different. I feel like
things would be so different.
But I wouldn't change anything though.
Yeah, for sure. Same. Like everything that you do leads you up to a certain point in your life.
It's crazy.
So it's just wild to think, like, had I had gone somewhere else for college, like, would I still be living this? Like just things like that I was thinking of last week, that I was like, man, you never know what life would have been like had its tiny thing in your life changed prior.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm like, for me, like, I'm like for baseball, like I was always like a Cubs fan, like since birth.
Okay.
Like, so my grandma grew up in Chicago, so it was like right out of the womb, boom, you're a Cubs fan. Like That's how that is.
Yeah.
But like I never really like genuinely liked baseball.
Okay.
Until I was I guess my 13th birthday. That was like my first day, like where I like actually loved it.
And had you played it? Like, had you played it when you were...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I played it because it was something to do.
Yeah. And it was something for your parents to get you out of the house.
Pretty much. It was, yeah. So when I was like, I was 4 years old. So I broke my femur and I was in like a body cast. And,
as a 4-year-old?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So I'm a 4-year-old now, and like I'm just waiting for him.
Oh.
Yeah,
wild. It was a freak accident. It was I was walking the dog with a leash in the backyard, and the dog took off for a car, and I was on the leash. So
gotcha. Yep.
And then a garden hose caught my foot, spiral broke my femur, and yeah, that was my first bone. That was the first bone I broke. So it was a good one. So yeah, so I was in a body cast, and the only thing I could do was pretty much sit there or just stand in one spot.
Yeah.
So my mom got a tee and a bat, and I just sit like in the hallway and just swung.
Just do something.
Yeah, and that's how I guess like the motions of playing baseball started.
Yeah, got started. That's so funny too, because like how your parents or guardians or whatever like shape you as you're little like that. Because my dad used to, when I was 4, did like sock balls. Like we'd have sock balls in the house, and he is just like throwing me pop-ups, and I'm just no glove. I'm just like playing, like as a 4-year-old. I'm thinking like we're just hanging out. Yep. He's like throwing me sock balls. He's rolling them to me. Like we had a huge like screen door, big sliding glass screen door in the back. Not screen, but anyways. And he'd try to like get it past me. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm going to roll this. I'm going to see if I can hit the window behind you kind of thing. And like, it's just crazy to think back. Like that's probably how I got some of my fundamentals.
Easily.
It's just wild.
It's like the hand-eye coordination right there.
Yeah, exactly. Hand-eye coordination, all that stuff. And that's what he still tells me when he talks about the kids. He's just like, oh, just roll up some sock balls and just start throwing them at Owen, which is my 4-year-old, who's like really good. And he's like, just start throwing them at him. He'll figure it out. Like, they're not going to hurt him.
Yeah.
Just whatever. He'll figure it out. And then when I started, because I caught from the time I was like 10. So I was a catcher all through college. And then when I was 10, my dad used to make me squat just when I was just starting out, squat for a TV show. So I would squat the whole TV show as it was playing, and then on commercial breaks I could sit, like I could rest my leg. But then as I'm watching, and he would do this just as I was watching TV. Yeah. Like when I'd come home from school and those little breaks between going to practice or something like that. Like if I'm just watching TV, he'd be like, all right, we'll squat. Like if you're gonna sit here and watch TV, then you're gonna squat. I'm like, all right. And so that's literally how I built like my leg strength up.
No shit.
As a 10-year-old. Yeah.
I think as a 10-year-old, I like if my mom said to do that, I would be like, hell no, like you are crazy.
I think because he was my coach and he would have to like take me to practice, like we were always together.
Yeah,
he would just be like, oh, I bet your legs are tired because you didn't do your squats, at home or whatever. But yeah, he used to do that. And then I was really, really accurate. I still have a really accurate throw, but like I was really accurate. And it's because he used to start throwing, like have me throw 50, 50, 50 at each base from behind the plate. And he would start with big targets and I'd just have to hit them.
Yeah.
Whatever way. And then they'd get smaller and smaller. Then it's like a bucket. Then it's like those half bucket guys. And then it's like a crate. And you're like, you have to hit it 50 times. And then you can move to the next base, like that kind of stuff. And it's just small stuff that.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
It all adds up.
If I were to go to a freaking coaching clinic or something, I'd be like, oh, why don't you just put a bucket and have them hit it 50 times? They would laugh. They'd be like, are you serious? Like, that's not a TrackMan or like some technical whatever thing that we're doing. All right. But I'm telling you it works.
I did. I mean, let's see. Like when I was like 11, 12, 13, so like I would walk across the street like from mine and my mom's house, and I think this is incriminating. I actually spray painted a strikeout, so like a box inside of a school.
You heard it her first.
and I pretty much, I mean, like it's like I would throw and I would just like, I guess like pretty much just like pitch to the side of the school, and and the ball would come back.
Pretty sure it's a felony, and like tagging us.
It's shit happens. It's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, the paint's gone. They don't know what school. No one knows what school.
Exactly.
But
now you just like, it's just crazy to think like that's how kids are.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna figure out a way. Like if I want to do this, or get better at something and be competitive and that kind of thing, like they're going to figure out a way to find that edge.
Oh, exactly.
Even when you're, like you said, 11, 12, 13, like
yeah,
figure out a way.
I mean, like, because I grew up in a single mother household.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom would like, I mean, like, because also like at that school, like her and I like would like walk across the street, and then like she would squat, and then she would attempt to catch for me.
Yep.
But then I got older, and then every time she would like every time she would like say something like she's a smart ass, I would throw a curveball in the dirt, and
This guy.
she
This guy. Come
and
on.
and then I think honestly the first time I did that, she was like, I'm done. Like, nope, we're good.
Yeah.
Like,
Now we're out.
yeah, but no,
Yeah.
my mom's a saint. Like, that's, oh yeah, we spent lots of nights doing that.
Yes. My husband's mom was a single mom too. Oh my God. Like, bless. And he
That's
has
what I'm saying.
a little brother. And just like, bless single moms all around the board, because
That's what I'm saying.
it is so hard. And then
Yeah.
no, you get your kid being a smart ass back to you. Like, you go. Like,
Yep, exactly.
because I'm tired of it.
Well, yeah. Like, so my mom now, I mean, like, cause I have a little brother who's 7.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and she's still like a single mom, and like he likes the numbers and stuff of sports. I mean, like,
Okay.
he loves swimming. Like
Okay.
he loves to swim. But we went to a Mariners game last weekend, I think, or the weekend before, and he asked me how do they keep score. So I'm like, dude, let's do this.
Yeah.
So then like he would watch me take score like in a book for like one inning,
Right.
and then we would switch, and then he would
Okay.
like do it. And I'm like, awesome. Like,
That's how you learn right there, though. And that's what
yeah,
everybody wants now. Like every player, it's all about numbers and stats and
exactly.
projections and all that kind of crazy stuff.
He's definitely a observer.
Mm-hmm.
And then like my mom now, like she's a high school art teacher, so he just loves like the whole like the being like the creative and learning the numbers. So it's just like, dude, like,
Yeah.
possibilities are endless for you.
Mm-hmm. 100%. That's such a huge thing across everywhere. MLB, minor leagues, like everything is about a number, which I kind of hate, but I get it. I just don't like it.
Exactly. I mean, like, cause like because you said like that if you went to like a hitting, I guess, like, or like a catching camp,
Mm-hmm.
and you say like just like throw it to the bucket. I mean, like, what's the difference between hitting a bucket and getting a exact number, but you're doing the same thing?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I say simplicity, and that's simple.
It's easier for, I think it's less like heartbreaking sometimes. You know what I mean? Like sometimes those numbers, and if you're looking at projections and stuff like that, if your projections look to go down, if you keep riding whatever wave this is, you're like, well, dang, but you forget that those are just projections. Like, I think that's what happens sometimes in like a lot of these players' minds, is that they forget that they're just projections, or like numbers can just be numbers.
Yeah.
And I think I just don't like how sometimes it's like a live or die by the number, like by the at bats, by the RBIs. Like, why are we living and dying by that?
Oh, exactly.
Instead of looking at all other things. I'm not saying everybody does that, but just like from my viewpoint.
So it was like, because there was the World Series of 2020 when they pulled Blake Snell in the 5th inning because his numbers projected that if he went any further, then he would have got hit and all that stuff. But it's like the times like that where it's just like, you just gotta play baseball, like, just go.
Yeah. And that can also be another downfall of like social media, though. Like, had he have left Blake Snell and those projections were correct, and he did get rocked the next inning or whatever, then you've got all these armchair experts at their house on the Twitter being like, this guy sucks, and you're like, all right, well, but then we pull him and now everybody's mad because now the manager sucks. Like,
it's so hard to sit on Twitter and look at like everyone's like opinions about each thing that's happening. I mean, I have my own opinions about stuff and I'm not scared to tweet it. But it's just like it's just so it's so funny.
Yeah. And some people see like a one tweet and they're like live or die by this tweet, and then it's like,
yeah,
this is correct. I'm like, did you even Google this? Did you even look on the internet prior to posting your serious opinion about something that is wrong, like something that you're not even paying attention to? Really, that's the part that irritates me about Twitter.
There's so many biased people on there. There's so many biased people on
oh there. Yeah, for sure. Which, I mean, we both have our biases too in certain aspects, but I think the bias comes from like how many clicks, how many likes, how many shares, how many quote tweets like are you getting, and that's just making my ego be bigger.
Yeah,
because I'm right and everybody else is wrong. You know what I mean? That's the part that irritates me.
Do you feel that there's a bias? Like, so let's say like I tweet the same thing as you.
Yeah.
And then, but then people will look at my tweet and your tweet and they'll automatically assume a bias between me being a man and you being a woman.
Oh, yeah. That's just America. That's just society. You know what I mean? They're just going to see your tweet and be like, this is a smart ass dude. Click, retweet, whatever. And then they'll see mine. Maybe they'll see it later or something and be like, oh, copy, ratio, whatever. Mm-hmm. Because it looks like we said the same thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes it feels like that women don't get to have an original opinion. They're like, oh, well, some man had to tell you that. Like, you didn't just learn that, or you didn't just come up with those things on your own. I'm not saying everybody's that way. I mean, there's definitely like allies, if you will, but
yeah,
a lot of it is, and I mean, even now, like, you don't think of it. Like I tweeted the other day about the Cowboys dude.
Yep.
Did you read that? I don't even know if you did, but
I can do it right now.
Well, it was just, so down the street there's a Starbucks, and you don't see a lot of Texas anything right here in California. They're like some weird American rivals or whatever. Well, I showed up Starbucks. I had my Texans t-shirt on Sunday, and we're just like chatting, and he like opened the door for me, so I like walked in and I saw a shirt.
I did read it, by the way.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yep. And I saw a shirt, and he was wearing a cowboy shirt, and of course that's not uncommon, whatever. And so he said, oh, Texans, don't get me wrong, they're not very good, but he was like, oh, Texans. I was like, coming from the guy wearing a cowboy shirt. And like, then we begin our little Texas banter, right?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, can't believe we lost. And I was like, can't believe we actually won. Whatever. So we're talking about mainly football stuff and just about certain players and blah, 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 whatever. Well, then towards the end, we both got our drinks and we're walking out, and he was just like, so nice to see, or like, so cool to hear like a chick know stuff about football. You know, you don't hear that very often. And I was just like, well, this was a cool conversation until you had to bring like my gender into it. You know, like, this was fine. Like, you could have just been like, hey, nice to meet you. Good luck today, or whatever. Yeah. I was just like, yep, nice meeting you. Bye. Like, it's just like, just say person, or don't say anything. Just be like, hey, nice meeting you. Like, good chatting with you about football or whatever. I'm like, leave. You don't have to like add in that you're so proud of me as a woman to know things about a sport. Just be like, cool. And that's the end of it.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I mean, like because I learned like at a young age that that women rule the world. That's how I learned that one.
A lot of men who grow up in single mom households feel that way.
Yeah, like, it all goes like, so my great grandmother, so she was told that women should not like go to college, and so she pretty much said fuck that, and we went and got her doctorate. And then I mean, like, she was actually like one of like the first like women to get their doctorate in nursing. And
Wow.
yeah, so that started the whole, like, from her. And then my grandma, like, she takes no shit from anyone. And also and I was like to grow up like in Chicago. And then my mom, like the single mother, like who works her ass off.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like growing up, it's just,
Yeah.
I learned real quick.
Yeah, definitely. And it's really hard because I know that there are sometimes like that man probably didn't know that it was like a weird comment to say. Like
Yeah.
he probably didn't recognize it. It was just one of those what is it called? An unconscious, like an unconscious
Yeah.
stereotype that you
Yeah.
don't really think of or whatever. And he probably didn't know. I didn't feel like calling him out. It was not a thing.
You should have.
Well, but I know, but like I'm be like, hey, don't call me a chick. I'd be like, but you are a chick. And like there are some things that I think being a woman makes us more special. Like, don't get me wrong, I believe in equality, but there's also a reason, like there's also a reason there's two genders. There's a
Sure.
like we can do things that you guys can't do. You guys can do things we can't do, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's cool things like that I believe makes people special, makes the sexes special, right?
Yep.
But I think a lot of the problem is that we women have been like pinned against each other by society because there can only be one. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
especially in these big industries, whether it be TV, baseball, you know, the military, like there can only be one special woman that we take to check off our diversity, you know? And so it kind of pins us against each other to where we're like, well, if she gets it, then that means no one else does. To where it builds up that like deep rooted competitiveness inside women. A lot of the times that I am with sports or whatever am talking, it's a lot of women who will bring you down and be like, all right, well, you know, you don't do this and you don't do this. How are you doing this and still being a mom? How are you being a mom and still doing a career? You know what I mean? Like those kind of things. And you're just like, we can all do it. Like we can all root for each other and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand, but that's how it gets started of like, oh, women don't really know that much because there's not really that many in the room to start because we've only got one space for a woman.
Yep.
You know? So that's more of the difficulty that I like have to deal with is just kind of, and the other thing is too, is like, if you see a woman fail, you think, not you, but like society, right?
Yeah.
If a woman fails, they're like, oh, well, see, she's not funny. She didn't cut it in the sports industry. She can't do this. She can't do that. So why are we allowing women to have these chances if they can't do it? So I have a hard time, which is going to sound misogynistic, but I have a hard time putting women above certain things before they're ready, because I believe you've got to be ready for the rest of us. Like you've got to go up there and be ready and be prepared, because they're going to try to all drag you down. And when they do, it sadly makes the rest of us look like we can't make it. Does that make sense? It's kind of like a weird...
that makes sense. It's kind of like, I mean, because the more I think about it, like it's bullshit. Because like, I mean, because like if a guy like attempts something and we fail, hey, like it's whatever, like just try again.
Yeah.
But if, I mean, like to your point, it's not just a hey, like just like try it again.
No,
And
like,
then
it's all right.
Yeah.
You get another opportunity or something like that. Because sometimes you don't. Like sometimes I don't get another chance.
Yeah.
That was it. And it didn't work out. And it's fine. I mean, that's, you know, builds us all up as women in a way. Like it builds that character. But from a young age, like I was never told or encouraged necessarily to like pursue sports, like not playing wise, but like for a career, you know, when you grow up, what are you going to be? Like that kind of thing. And I always thought I was going to be a teacher, because that's just kind of like the way that things, led me. Like it was just like, oh, this is what you're going to do. There was no talk about sports. Oh, well, what do you think you could do? What do you, whatever. So like my associate's in undergrad is in teaching, is in education, because I just thought that's what I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wasn't really like, you're not, so my family is all in the same area. You don't move away. You all stay there.
Yep.
Whatever, 5 minutes one way, 5 minutes the other way. That's where they're at. And so I was the first to get out of there. When I went to a different college down the street, moved to North Carolina, went to Oklahoma, Germany, like I've been everywhere.
All over.
Yeah. And it was really hard for my family because they're like, you're supposed to be here.
She's a rebel.
We're a family. You're supposed to stay together. Yeah. Yep. And so it just wasn't one of those things. Not that it's a bad thing. My dad probably calls me every day being like, hey, you got another job? Like, what's the sports world like? Like every day. But you're just not taught that. Like as a little girl, you're just not like brought up that way, to no fault of my parents specifically, but like you're just not brought up that way because you're thinking, oh, this is my daughter. She's going to get married. You know, she'll be the one to have the kids. Like that kind of stuff is just, it's just like, I don't know, ingrained, but like, it's such a deep ancestral thing that you do.
I think the word that I would call that would be just, I don't know, basic.
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah.
No offense to anyone.
No,
but that's just, it's, I don't know. You think kind of like how I think, definitely outside the box. Like, it's like, I mean, like if people tell me to go do stuff, I'm probably gonna not do it just because they said you should do this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Like, oh, you should apply here. Like I went to a junior college first, my first 2 years, and then I went up to Sam Houston State. And I told myself, like, I'm not going to this junior college because it's down the street from my house. Like I would live at my parents' house and that's where I would go, whatever. And my husband's 2 years older than me. So he was already at the university. And I was like, no, that's where I want to go. Like, I want to go, I want to leave. I want to be in a dorm. I want to like do my own thing, whatever. And I ended up getting a full ride at this junior college. And I was like, I mean, if I want to go to college, essentially, because I didn't really think I was going to go to college if it wasn't for softball. Like let's go this route. So I went there and it was probably the best thing that I could have done for like my 18, 19, 20-year-old self is go there, suck it up about, maybe my goals and dreams of going to some big university, but like go there because I was taught so much. Like the coach that I had, shout out Kelly Signs, she was phenomenal. She did not first off, she didn't take any shit. She wasn't playing the games of like coming hungover. She wasn't playing the games of like skipping out on practice. She wasn't playing any of those games. You just didn't do it. We conditioned every single day because she was like, you're not getting to inning number 6 and being tired. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? So we conditioned every day. We did weights, and I mean like weights, not like go in there and bullshit for 30 minutes. Like she was like paying attention.
Early morning.
Yeah, like the 5:30 weights. Oh yeah. And she taught us so much about, as women, just like communication, situational awareness, pay attention to what you're doing, like go hard when you're on the diamond, but like after that, you're respectful, you're all this kind of stuff, because you're not just you anymore. Now you're part of the college, right? You're part of the team.
You represent the whole group as a whole.
Represent all of us. So that was just one of the things. I mean, she was the coach that was like, if I heard something, we had 2 assistant or like volunteer hitting coaches, right? If I heard one thing from one of them and then a different thing from another one, she was like, literally bring them together. I would like bring them together and I'd be like, you told me this and you told me this. So what do I need to do? Like, that's the communication that she wanted. Which is straight, open. We're not playing like, oh, well, he told me this and now I don't know what to do with my swing or whatever. She's like, no, we're not playing that. Like, come and have a conversation and we'll figure it out. That kind of thing. And then I transferred that over to the university and it didn't fly with that coach. So So it ended up not working there. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, like it was just like the way to go. Like I just so happy that I went there.
straightforward to the point.
Yeah.
You learn more
There.
off the field than you do on the
Oh,
field.
exactly.
But
Exactly.
but then again, it does translate onto the field.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 100%.
That
So I don't know. It was great going there though.
See the junior college route, I am all for that.
Yeah.
It is fun. It is.
It is. It's
A lot
just
of rough
fun.
days.
Huh?
A lot of rough days.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So a lot of the times those like junior college coaches, like if they like ours didn't want to move up. I guarantee you she had a million opportunities to move up to a university, but like she didn't want to because she loved what she was doing and she was so good at it. Like she's like the most winningest something, you know, like she's awesome. And she just loved doing that and it was just so important for her to like get basically a new team every year because
Yep.
half your team leaves, you know?
Yeah.
That's where I think the communication.
I like that.
Yeah. That's where the communication is so big is because like, okay, you have literally freshmen that are on your team that have to start because you probably lost, you know, you lost half your starters, right?
Yep.
So they got to start. So you have to be able to communicate with these freshmen and the freshmen have to be able to communicate with the sophomores without bruising an ego. So you had to like wash all that out and just be like, look, we both have to do this. And I'm leaving next year. So like, let's just do the thing.
She sounds like, so she kind of sounds like how my high school baseball coaches were. They're very straight to the point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, like you learn respect early on,
right?
And you have to earn everything you are given.
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely changes. I mean, like I use that mindset for everything I do.
Oh yeah, same. It like has, and her and I still speak today, and like I'll call her for whatever, but it's just such a like deep relationship that you create with someone who's only there for 2 seasons, who's only there, you know, for 2 years. Like the impact that has and has had for my last 10 years of life is come from her, like stemmed from that.
Well, yeah, so like the work ethic, like from that, pretty much like you took all the way through. I mean, like,
oh yeah,
to this day.
yes, definitely. That and my dad making me squat during you know TV.
That like I said, like if my mom told me that, I would be like, nope, we are good.
my dad is wild. So his punishments to us were never like spankings. It was never a quick reaction. I think I was yelled at by him, truly yelled at, where he was mad at me like twice in my whole life of living there. Like that's just wasn't that's not his first go-to.
Yeah.
But he's going to let you sit on it. And then we're going to have an hour-long conversation where you're like, Jesus, like, let's go. And when I was in high school, if I'd like roll my eyes or like huff, like, oh my God, he'd be like, so, and he would start over. Like he would like start over, be like, this is your punishment, is like listening to me talk. And I'm going to ask questions over and over again. And I'm going to do
it just like drilled in your head like that.
Yes. And you're just like, oh my God, like I can't do this anymore. And I still hate questions. My husband will ask me a question. I'm like, dang, I'm just doing this. And he's like, oh, wow.
My bad for asking what you're doing.
Yeah, he's like, you grew up with your dad. How do you still hate questions? I was like, because I don't want to be questioned anymore. Tired of it.
I'm like, I think, okay, so like my mom, like for her punishments, I don't know. I mean, like she could be brutally honest, like with me. Like if I had like a bad game, like pitching, she'd be like, "What the fuck was that?" And I'm like, I just don't want to talk about it. Like we're good. Oh. Yeah, no, she would definitely be like the straightforward, just like to the point, done, move on.
Yeah.
But I think like so like one of the craziest like punishments like that I had like growing up. So like when I was little, I used to cuss a lot. I used to say a lot of bad words. So my mom, she would, I mean, it would be like the soap in the mouth.
Oh, yep, got that before. Uh-huh.
But then she realized that I didn't care, and I could probably tell you every single brand and flavor of soap.
Right.
And then she was like, "There's nothing I can do about this. Like, we're
Damn
good."
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But then she learned that that by her saying that she's disappointed rather than mad, that got me.
Yep. Yep. That is my mom thing too. When hers is very like stoic, and she's very like old school Catholic. Like there's some guilt behind the stuff. So
Yep.
so if she's has something to say, and she kind of wants to like let you know that she's upset,
Mm-hmm.
she says it, and then there's like that just little hint of guilt behind it where you're like, damn, she's really mad at me. Like, it crushed my little spirit. You're like, oh. And my dad would be like, what are you doing up there in the box? Like, he's just like
Yeah,
straightforward to the point.
I
But
had
yeah,
to have both of them. I had the both. It was
yep.
I never knew like what I was gonna get.
Yeah. Which way the disappointment was gonna go.
Yeah, but then like now, like growing up, it just like I don't know. I mean, I talk to mom like at least once, twice a day. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of like I don't know, like she kind of like always like she like asks me like how like the podcast is going and like all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and then she uses like the positive like reinforcement for it, and it's
Yeah.
it helps a lot.
Yeah.
It
For sure.
drives of like the why I do this.
Yeah. And I think that's the best way to do it, because especially when you're older, like
Mm-hmm.
now you can tell your parents why you want to do something, and they're
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh, now I can get it, like now I kind of understand it. Because when you're like little, like my kids are, they can't tell you why they did something, and so you're just like, what are you doing? They're just like, I'm just like
I don't
4.
know. I just did it. I'm 4 years
Like
old. I just smile and wave.
I just did the thing, and my 2-year-old sister helped me with it. Like we just colored on this wall, it's fine.
It's
Like,
a whole team right there.
yeah, oh my gosh, they're like thick as thieves, I swear. It's wild. They're wild.
Are you gonna coach?
I don't know. I think I would really love to coach. I think I would really like it. I loved coaching. I coached college D3 when I was in North Carolina. Coached at
Nice.
Methodist University. I was an assistant coach. And it was awesome. Like it was so awesome. And I was only 24, 25.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, a lot of these girls, like at least the seniors, I could have like been friends with, like truly
Yeah.
been friends with, because they're that close in age. But I was able, because I was so close in age, and I had also literally been through, like college softball as well. I knew what coming to practice hungover looked like. I knew
Yup.
what trying to hurry through a drill so you can get ready to go out looks like. Like I
Yep.
knew all that stuff as soon as they would step on the field, and they would get pissed. They would be like, oh, Coach Megan, come on. I'd be like, no, another, go. And like they were just like, fuck, like trying to go out. It's my birthday. Just like stuff like that I was like, y'all come over tomorrow smelling like alcohol, and I'm gonna make you pay for it. Like stuff like that. And I don't know. It was just a freaking blast. Like I love being on the field. I
Yeah.
love it. It's awesome.
I mean, I've like thought about coaching, but I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I think I'd rather just be an observer
Yeah.
and just let them do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, 'cause I've had like plenty of like opportunities like to go coach like the local teams and
Yeah.
then like the like baseball teams, but I I think just like every time I'm just like
What holds you back from it? Like what don't you like about it?
honestly, I don't know. I think it's more of like I can explain stuff. Um, if actually I don't know. I think they're just excuses, but it's
Sounds like it. No.
yeah. But I don't know. It's I don't know. Like I'm weird. I'm like a introvert, but I enjoy talking to people not in person.
Okay.
I don't know if that
remotely.
Well, okay, well, this is okay. I don't know, like,
That's what I
it's
mean.
weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, like, because I could do this, like, I mean, like, because I could talk to
Yeah.
people on, like, Zoom calls all day,
Right.
but I don't know, like, I don't I don't know. I really don't know. I think I would rather just I don't know, like, be a fan of, like, whatever team or I mean, and
Yeah.
then just be, like, a guide, like, that if they need someone, like, to help, then I'm, like, more than willing to help.
Gotcha.
But I don't know, I just I don't know, scared of coaching.
Is it like a little bit of imposter syndrome? Like if you were to go there, you'd believe like maybe I don't know all of this. Like
Kind of.
maybe a little bit.
Kind of, yeah.
That
I
makes
think
sense. I
I
think
think
that's
it
a
would
common thing,
yeah.
across the coaching board for sure.
I mean, it takes a special person to coach.
Agreed.
I mean, but, like, I am 100% going to I mean, like, I am all for coaching, like, my little brother's team, though. That
I was
is
about
a
to say, I was totally about to
See
say, like, start there and then like,
well, yeah.
you know,
See, I
build
would
it up.
love to do that. I would love
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
But
Especially his age. Because how old is he? You said 7, right?
7, yeah.
Yeah. They're like fun and you can kind of which ones who are like really into
Yeah.
it or not. Like my 4-year-old, my husband kind of coached with his team. I try to like be for my kids, I kind of want to be like the fan,
Yeah.
not like on it or not like in it. But he kind of helped. And I mean, 4-year-olds like wrangling wet cats. They're just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
stay over here, don't dig in the dirt. Like it's like
Yeah. I helped, I went to a few of his T-ball, practices,
uh-huh.
and I immediately got thrown into, helping, and I'm just like, "Oh, this is a shit show, like, this is crazy."
Yeah.
And I and then I'm just like, my anxiety's going, like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, "Someone's gonna get hit by a bat, like, this is
Yeah.
so bad."
Yes.
But I think if I coached, I don't think I would wanna coach baseball.
Oh, what do you want to coach then?
I mean,
Like, what would be your option?
I mean, because I played well, like, I was, like, baseball, basketball, football,
Oh, you did it all. Same.
yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah, so, I don't know, it honestly, probably basketball, like, that's I don't know. I love basketball, um, but also I like football too, but, like, I don't know. I think those 2, but I wouldn't wanna coach baseball just because I would
Mhm.
rather be a fan
Yeah.
of it.
And that's good. I mean, that's good that you like recognize it, to be
Yeah,
fair.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to go back and, like, go play baseball, but
Yeah.
then again, like, I had my opportunities and things just happened, like, how they happened, and
Right.
I wouldn't trade it, like, for
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, for sure. So did you play out of high school?
Yeah,
Did you go to
yeah,
college? Okay.
yeah, I went to, Wenatchee Valley College.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a junior college up here in Washington State, and,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, like, 'cause there was schools across the country, like, that I coulda gone to, but
Mhm.
I stayed close, but not too close. I mean, it's, like, 2 hours away.
Yep. Yep.
Um, but then I had to get my rotator cuff and labrum redone.
Okay.
So that was my freshman year. And then I came back rehabbed and I partially tore my UCL in my elbow. So therefore I pitcher outfielder.
Okay. Okay.
So it was like, do I get surgery on my elbow or do I just hang it up and be done? So I decided just to be done. And
Okay.
then that gave me more time to like be a fan of the game and
Yeah.
learn more. And then like this, I swear to you, like the second that like I stopped playing, like I was just like, there's a lot more to this game than what's like on the field.
100%. That was me too. I when I was little, I remember being at a tournament with our select ball team, our summer team or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember being at a tournament, and my dad would always make us watch the game before our game. So like softball, I don't know if you know, is like different
Yeah.
different tournament wise. Like I can play 7 games on a Sunday
Oh
to
yeah.
go to the championship, right? And
Yep.
that's just like a casual tournament. That's just normal. So my dad would make the team go to the game before our game. And as a kid, as like a junior high kid, whatever, 7th grade, 8th grade, that sucked. Like, I didn't want to sit and watch a game. Like, this is boring. Like, and I remember telling him that. I remember like where we were sitting, like the whole thing. I don't remember exactly what place in Texas we were, but I remember sitting there and just telling him, like, Dad, these games are boring. Like, I don't want to watch the games. Like, I'd rather be playing them. I don't want to practice either, but like, I don't want to watch the games. They're boring. And now after leaving, I'm like, oh my gosh, if she would have done this, you know, like, it's totally different. I'm like, oh, if she'd have done this, if he would have done that, like, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he should pay attention to this, like, all this sort of stuff. And I just get so into it. But my husband and I are huge, like, no-hitter fans. Yeah. Like, we love watching no-hitter games. And a normal fan is like, this is, like, I want to see bombs, you know?
See, I'm the exact same way as you and your husband. I mean, like, I would love to watch, like, a 1-0 2-1 game.
Like those small, tiny things that you're like, and then you think back to the game that you're like, oh, had he done this tiny thing, you know, had he just like hit against the shift or even done like a sack bunt. I know that's a hot topic, but like if he'd have done something like that, like maybe they would have won or whatever.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
So I took a family friend of ours who's from Denmark to their first baseball game up in Seattle. And he was so confused on like what everything was. Like he was just like, he was saying like out loud, like he's like, baseball is so slow and boring.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that soccer is way more fun than this.
Yeah.
And then like everyone like was just like, what is this dude saying? Like what? And he is not wrong.
Yeah.
He is not wrong. Baseball is so boring.
Yeah. It for sure is. For your like fair weather, I say fair weather, but like you're just average fan. You're very basic fan. It's so boring. So boring, so long, especially the professional ones. Forget about it. Like you pay $150 to go to this game. You got to park. Then you got to eat $50 nachos. And then you got to like all this sort of stuff to get truly the full experience. And then you're like, oh my gosh, we're only in the 3rd inning. Like we've been here for 3 hours. What's going on? Yeah. And that's totally why I encourage people to go to minor league games, because they're way more fun. They're shorter, they're quicker, and there's a lot more to do as you're enjoying your time, you know?
Well, yeah. I mean, because you don't pay like that big amount of money like to go watch. So you can actually like enjoy like everything around it.
Yep. Yes. And there's even like, you know, we have small children, so like they're not going to sit. They don't sit and watch unless we're sitting like behind first base, home plate, third base, right there in it. The kids are like, no. Like they're good for first 2-3 innings, and then it's like, all right, now I want snacks. I want to walk around. I want to do this. You know what I mean? Like they want to go do all that stuff. And minor league ball is so easy to do because they're, you know, really directed towards families. They're really directed towards those people who are kind of your average fan that's not going to sit and be like honing in for 7, 8, 9 innings. Like they want to see the other stuff that they've got going on. So they've got all those kid zones, and now there's so many other like minor league parks that have little splash pads and playgrounds and things like that, because that's what's going to happen. Like I will go to the playground and like I'll kind of sort of watch you, but I also want to watch the game. But it's nice to have that there because I don't have to be like, no, sit down, be quiet, blah blah blah, don't do this, whatever, don't hit your sister, all this stuff again. Like we can actually have fun when we go.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I would say like is at the Mariners game the other week, like with my brother, we went it would be like every 4 innings we would go for like a walk like around the stadium. Just because like he wanted to go see everything, and I'm like, all right, well then let's go. So then like we would go to like the very very top like of the stadium and then like walk around, and then he just like wants to see everything, and and then he's like, hey, can I get a hat? I'm like, yeah dude, for sure. And he just like, I think I'm gonna come back. I think I'm gonna come back. Like, I'm like, all right, dude, like, just like let me know like when you want to go.
Yeah. Yeah. See, it's like so fun. And that's how really it gets started. With like continuing the game and like protecting it and stuff is like getting the little kids out watching baseball, even if you're going to the games where you walk around almost the whole time or they're playing at the playground. Like if it's just a part of the life, then they're going to grow up and like continue to be fans. And especially with your brother who likes, the numbers and stuff, like he might get into high school and be able to name off players and their at bats and like that kind of stuff. My brother is crazy with the numbers too. Like he couldn't tell you hey, who is that one guy in the 1995 World Series, blah, blah, blah. He'd be like, oh, that's XYZ. And I'm like, shit, I don't know any of that. Like, I don't know that. That's not how my brain works.
And baseball needs more of those people.
I know.
Especially with how like everything's going.
100%. Yeah, I was talking to a guy who works at the commissioner's office, and he was saying like that's where people are leaning. Like that's where organizations are really wanting is like those research and development people and like the analytics and like that's 100% where we're leaning, which is not great for me because I'm the opposite way. Like I believe stats are great, but I don't believe they show everything about a person.
Exactly.
So I want to see what that extra part is about the players. Like I want to see that part. How are you in the community? What do you do when you leave? Like, how do you support your family? Do you have family? Do you have kids? Like, how does this and how do those off the field needs pertain and help you or hurt you when you're on the field?
Well, yeah.
Like, what would it look like if your 4 basic needs were taken care of off the field? Like, what would your potential be like then?
And that's a big thing that More Than Baseball does.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Huge. I think Jeremy had said like, the difference between one hit or like 12 and 50 or something like that on your podcast. He said something about a stat again. See, I don't freaking remember, but like getting 12 hits out of your 50 at bats versus getting 15 hits in your last 50 at bats. Like the difference in those true stats, like can be the make or break if you're moving up or down.
Yeah.
And that's, what would happen if maybe the guy who hit 280 had to sleep in his car for 2 nights before the game. Like what would happen if he was in a fully furnished place where he felt safe and comfortable and had a place to lay his head? What would his stats look like then?
Yep.
What would be the difference there? And I think that's probably the part that we're trying to figure out at More Than Baseball is like, people want to see numbers. They want to see facts. They want to see the research. They want to see developments, like that kind of stuff. Like we're trying to work what that true difference is to show, hey, if each organization provided housing, food allowance, whatever, transportation, like
it would be,
what would it look like?
Well, yeah, because there would be so many like less worries like for the guys like to have to worry about like off the field. Right. Oh, I guess like on the field, less worries because like after the game, like they have to go find somewhere to stay.
Yeah.
Like, well, like what if you knew where you were staying and you can just worry about being a professional athlete?
Yeah. And I compare a lot of the times military life to minor league baseball life because you're getting dropped in a place where you don't have support, you don't have family, you probably don't have friends yet, and you've got to make the best of it wherever you're at. You got to figure out where to live. You got to figure out where the grocery stores are, where the hospital's at. You got to figure out all that kind of stuff and like how that can affect you,
Yeah.
How in a lot of ways baseball is a little bit worse only because for those soldiers here that are single or whatever, there's provided housing. There's like strictly things that you can do. There's a lot of resources. Granted, it is the military, it's provided by Uncle Sam, but like,
but you don't have to worry about like where you're going to sleep. You don't have to worry about food. Yeah.
Especially if you're like a young dude, you don't have any family, whatever. There's like cafeterias, that you go to and like you get your meal. Like if you just don't have any money left for the month or whatever. Like, there's literally ways that you can figure it out as a military family person, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But baseball, you're like, hey, hope there's a McDonald's for you.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's the kind of shit that they have to go through. And that just sucks as a person who knows the game and knows that these players are trying to play at their highest potential, like their very tip top abilities to get to that next level. And it's like, well, what are we lacking that's not even field related? Because you guys take care of that. You got the track man, you got all that crap that you do, but like, what are we failing on that's off the field that can help more than the 1% that makes it up? You know, like, how can we get more up there or whatever?
Easily. I mean, like, it takes a whole, what is it? What's the saying? It takes a village.
Oh yeah. Yes. And you've got to be willing to accept the village help also.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I just went on the More Than Baseball website, and I'm actually gonna pull up the whole say, because you guys have how many members on the board, like the help?
Ooh, the board changed. I don't know. That's not a question for me. I'm not sure. The board's changed a little bit this past year, only because sports have been crazy, COVID.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That is true.
We dropped a few board members, but I think we're gaining quality. Like, we're gaining more quality than we need quantity wise, in my opinion.
Which is what is important.
Exactly. 100%.
Quality over quantity. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, let's see.
Let's just say our board on our website.
I'm on it right now. Let's see. Jeremy Wolf, Simon Slade, you, Melissa Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Melissa Lowry. Yeah, this has changed since last time I looked at it, and that was last week.
Yep.
Moving. Mary Ullman.
There's a lot of, restructuring that More Than Baseball is doing too. Because we're trying to be sure that, a lot of the times I told you Jeremy's idea man, and he's amazing at it, right? They each have their own very specific qualities that they bring to More Than Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And with this being the true full first season that, like, baseball was out in public.
That is true.
That it caused like a checks and balances to misfire, or to like, okay, we got to figure this out, because last season when they first launched, there was no minor league baseball. So everybody was kind of in their own lanes, and I was the one who hopped across the lanes, but them three didn't hop across the lanes necessarily. But this season they had to, right? Simon's playing, Slade's the busiest man in the world, Jeremy's playing, Olympics, like, there's so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
With truly the founders who are the heads of this, that there was things I couldn't do. I didn't have questions, I didn't have answers. Like, there's only so much I can do. There's only so much the rest of the team could do. So we all had to like checks and balance ourselves out. And I think since the season has slowed down and kind of officially done like this week for minor league baseball, it's a restructuring, and they're kind of smoothing things out. Like, all right, now we're going to figure it out on this off season so that we're even stronger next season. So that's what I was telling you, like, my job's kind of tapered off, only because it's trying to be like skeleton, and let's get the real like heads of this organization solid, so that the teams under them know where to go. That's not a shit on anything. That's like truly just how an organization works.
Honestly,
and being a startup, being a nonprofit, like, all those things are just an extra hurdle. Just an extra something. So it's gonna be so awesome in 2022. Like, I really think I've told all three of them so wholeheartedly, like, even though I'm looking for other opportunities and such, it's More Than Baseball is always going to be like on my resume, because I'm always going to stick to them and be like an advocate for them. Like, unless they just 100%. Completely dissolve and shit just leaves. But always, like, I'm always going to point whoever I'm working for, players I work with, whatever, like I'm always going to point to them because that's just what they're doing is just so amazing. And until organizations truly implement some of the stuff that More Than Baseball is doing, like within their own selves, there's no one else. There's no one else that's helping. So I push everybody there.
Yeah, see, and like that's exactly like what I want to do, like for the minor league offseason, is help all those players get I like to get like some media content like on them, and then like so they can tell their story of like where they're going.
Yeah.
And then like pretty much like what they've like been through. And
right.
I am it. And then honestly, I think every podcast I've recorded, I have mentioned More Than Baseball at least once. Because
and why would you not? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, because like
the minor league players, that's it's what we do.
Like, I mean, but like, even if I'm talking to like not minor league guys, like I will still like I'll still mention it because it's kind of like, I mean, because it's a big part of like why I do like what I do, and like the passion behind it, and that's just
definitely
it's a long journey ahead.
Yeah, they really like shaped a lot of where my passion was vague and broad. They like really had it come in, and I'm the type of person that wants to know everything about an organization that I work with. I was talking to a GM of a East Coast team, and he was talking about how the way he runs his team is by hit by the bus method. He believes if anybody on his team was coming into work, got hit by a bus, that he would fill that spot, no matter what it was. Pulling tarp, calling tickets, whatever it was. He's like, I want to know everything about the organization because as the GM, I should be able to fill that spot.
Oh yeah.
Like 100%. And that's, I never had a name for it, but like that's exactly how I
super utility
operate, how I think. Like I want to know. That's why like right now looking for positions, it's difficult because I'm 30. I spent my 20s gaining life experience. I have a 5-year employment gap, if you will. And these last 18 months, 2 years, whatever, have been with a nonprofit and not necessarily in a baseball organization. And a lot of the times the positions of like my age and education would be mid-level, even senior level. But because I don't necessarily have a lot of those like I call them resume experience. Like I don't have that resume experience behind me yet. I'm looking at entry level and I'm 150% perfect with it. Like if I could apply to like pull tarp, like that's what I'm going to apply for because
it's a foot in the door.
It's a foot in the door. And like I'll do freaking anything. Like I will, because I just believe so much in the minor leagues, like what they do and the processes they have to go through. Every piece of the team is so vital in those organizations. And it's just like, why would I not pull tarp? Because if I don't pull tarp or whatever, if I don't call our season ticket holders or whatever, like who's going to, and are they going to do it in the best way? You know, like, are these people going to be somebody that's just like trying to leave? Like, I want to know how it is because I want to be able to be that GM that's like, oh shit, we need someone else to pull tarp. And I freaking walk down and pull tarp. You know what I mean? Like, I believe that's what leadership looks like. So that's like the difficulty that I'm having is people are like, well, why are you applying for this job? Well, it's like, well, I don't have that experience, but I'm 100% willing to like do those experiences.
Yeah.
Because I believe that you should. I believe you should know about what's going on in your organization.
Have you ever thought about like creating your own route?
I have been asked this question a lot of times.
Oh.
I've had a few conversations with my husband and I don't know if you know Zach. Do you know Zach Robb? Zach Robb?
I've talked to him before.
Okay. So he is another one who's like, why don't you create your own organization? Like, why don't you create your own thing or whatever? And I've
his number.
tried, probably. He's awesome. But
I do. I do.
You do. See?
Oh, okay. So sorry to like
Go ahead. Go ahead.
God. Okay, so Zach and I, okay, so back like mid 2020, so he reached out to me on LinkedIn, and
Okay.
then he asked if he could call me. So I was like, yeah, dude, for sure. Like, let's talk. And then I think we actually had like a 2-hour conversation just
Yeah.
about, because like he wanted to know like what I do, and then I wanted to know like what he's done and everything. And that's that dude had like that guy's work ethic right there.
Oh,
It's
amazing.
and
Honestly, the
then
best that I've ever met in the business.
yes,
Truly.
and he what was it? Because he just like recently just got with MLB.
Yeah, but he's in the minor league. He's on the minor league side.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes,
He's in I think he's in the office, the front office of minor league baseball, I believe.
yes, yep.
He's doing gosh, something creative.
It is
But
so
I mean, this dude
amazing.
grinds it out. And I'm like, I could not be more like happy, proud of it to know him. Like, he's awesome. And I just love how he doesn't, there's no holdback with him. Like he's like, hey, if I want to know like about you, I'm gonna ask about you.
Oh
It's not
yeah,
one of those things like, oh, can you connect me? Like, I guess that's
he
either
goes straight to the point.
he's like, hey, let's get into it. Like calling you. I mean, I met him first time I met him is at the 19 winter meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we had talked online first because we were doing like the job fair. It's called the PBEO job fair.
Mm-hmm.
And we had talked, there's like a group that you can add yourself to or whatever whenever you sign up, and it's like a Facebook group, and there's people on there that like look for roommates or try to connect with people before the winter meetings. And I think him and I connected on there because I believe I asked a question or something in Facebook, whatever, and we met in person at the winter meetings. And I mean, we just chatted as if like we've known each other forever.
Yeah.
He was just like, hey, what do you do? What are you looking for? Where you want to lean at? Blah, 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 like all this sort of stuff. And at that point, I didn't know. And I was like, man, to be honest, I have no idea.
I'm just here
You
for
seem
fun.
like you've got your shit together. Like, I'm just really filling it out. Like, you're just graduated. Yeah. Like, I don't know. But he's awesome. He's awesome.
I honestly think that that we talked for the first time. I think it was like a month after I launched the podcast. So it was just like 4 episodes in.
Okay.
And I had, I think, who was, I think he listened to my episode with Jonathan Fink, and he was just like, oh yeah, okay. I mean, like I know him. And then it just like, and then like that, and then we just started talking.
Yeah.
And then it was, and then he like told me the story of like him like going like all the way to Japan like for to go watch Team Israel, and it was just I'm like, dude, that's wild.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, like I like them and I support Team Israel, and so he bought a ticket and went.
Yep.
I'm like,
and he
that's
lived over there
do.
for a while. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. He lived over there for a while. And I think him and I talked about, because we were both like coming back from living overseas for so long. And so we had talked about that and like, man, what's the best way? And I'm not sadly a creative. Like I wish I was. I truly wish that I could like learn and be good at it. And I think I probably could if I really dedicated my time. But like it's just not how my brain works. I don't know how to really explain it. It's not a cop out. It's just how, like, just not a strength of mine. And he was doing so much, like, creative wise, just pumping out, like, hey, I did this. Hey, I created this. I did this stack. I did whatever. Like, and I was like, dude, you're doing it. Like, this is exactly how people get recognized. This is exactly how, like, people get shown doors. Like, this is it. I was like, you're freaking doing it, and I'm so happy for you. And then he landed that job, and I was like, yo, like, I'm so proud of you right now. I'm so happy that you got it. But I'm really happy to know that kid.
And that's exactly what I like to do about this podcast. Like just hearing those stories about people, and
I love the connection part of it. I didn't think I would be good.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I didn't think I would be good at connecting because I feel like weird, at least not so much anymore, but especially when you're first starting out in the business, you like, I feel like if I'm asking for something, I also have to give something. Like, I don't know if that's like a Southern thing. Like, I'm not sure, but I feel like if I ask for a connection, or if I let somebody know, hey, I've applied to a job at your organization, whatever, I feel like I have to say like, and then I have this for you. You know, like, I don't know why. I think that's just an internal, I don't know what's going on. I'm getting a little bit better at it, but it's just hard sometimes for me to really like put it out there so much. And I don't really know what the holdback is. It's just, but he doesn't. And it's just, I wish I was like that.
I mean, like at first too, I was nervous, and I guess like I was nervous to actually like talk to people because I was such like in my like comfort zone, being at home, and during 2020, like, I mean, like I would just, I just like to be like home and everything. And then just like once I got talking to people that had the same like passion like that I did, then it got really easy.
Yeah.
And then you realize that it's a small world.
Yep.
But a lot of people are more than willing to help.
For sure.
And that's what makes this whole thing so special. So
100%.
special.
100%. And I also realized too that people who say, hey, reach out to me if you need something, let me know what I can do to help, all that kind of stuff. Those people who say those things personally to you, whether it be email, text, phone, if they say that to you, they mean it. And if they don't mean it, but you say something about it later, they'll be like, oh, you're right, I did. Like, then it's like they have to hold up their end of the bargain.
Yeah.
Of that. So I say that all the time, and I truly mean it. Like, whoever listens to this, like, if you need something,
same.
shoot me a DM, send me a text. Like, I will be, if I don't know the answer, I am not shy to ask for it. Like, I'll figure it out. I'll connect you, whatever. Like, I'm down to help.
I will send you in the direction of which I feel will help your situation come out the most positive way.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
You definitely have a good head on your shoulders for this whole thing, and
appreciate it.
And then for the future.
Thanks. Same to you though. Where do you see this going? Where do you see your baseball fandom going? I know you've got like a real job, like a real
yeah. I sadly do accounting 8 to 5. So I don't know. I really have no, I guess pretty much just impact as many people as I can.
Yeah.
I guess like to help players and coaches and everyone like in the baseball industry to, I guess, pretty much just like tell their stories.
Yeah.
I mean, because like without like every single individual person, I mean, things wouldn't be like how they are today.
Yeah.
And it's just like to help out others. Honestly, I have no big plans.
Yeah. Just visibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of like being selfish with it, kind of like for like my own like personal, like, I guess like my own network.
Yeah. But I mean, everybody's a little bit selfish and a little bit narcissistic. Like, everybody has those qualities about things.
Yeah.
But it's not selfish when you're doing something, even though it lands on your shoulders.
Yeah.
You're reflecting that on someone else. Like you said at the beginning of this, you're like, oh, this is your podcast. It's your podcast. You've got your name on this. But, you know, the guests are the guests.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, like,
you're right. But it's not a selfish act. Like, I don't think that that's selfish in any way.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, we could talk about your favorite food, what you like different on it, and where your favorite spot to eat is. Like, I will have a conversation about that because you want to have a conversation about that. And if that is important to you, then that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. True.
So let's I think we have nailed this whole entire podcast.
Yeah. No more questions. No more questions.
We're gonna wrap it up with one more question.
Okay. Perfect.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, come on. That's not a good one.
It depends on how you answer it, because I will give you my opinion on it.
I don't know what my favorite food is. I'm gonna be really honest with you. I think it's because I don't have an answer. Can we do okay, so I will say my toxic trait is that I really do believe that I have to have something sweet to finish off every meal. I think that's what my problem is.
Okay, what's your favorite dessert?
Oh my gosh, I have so many.
No,
okay,
pick one.
Okay.
If you had one dessert to have for the rest of your life, what would it be?
What would it be?
And that you would not get tired of?
Probably ice cream. Any kind.
Okay.
I really dig ice cream.
Like any flavor?
Any flavor besides coffee, not a fan. Yeah. And like pistachio or mint. That's not my jam.
Yeah, hard pass.
Like those don't sound great to me. But anything else, like I'm all game for. The other big one that I could say is like the brownies that have icing on top of them.
Ooh.
Those are so bomb.
Yes.
This is showing a lot about me. But like I just love sweets. Like I really do. That's like my vice. And I don't really drink alcohol very much. I just like sweets.
What are you drinking right now? Because I see
Elasian Super Fuzz Blood Orange Ale.
Oh, that's alcohol right there.
Yeah. I said not very much. I didn't say not at all.
Well, cheers.
Cheers. What are you drinking?
I am drinking Screwball.
That's peanut butter, right?
Yep.
Yeah. No.
I don't like peanut butter, but I like peanut butter flavor.
You don't like peanut butter?
I'm a texture person. Oh,
okay. Like you don't like it's like regular, like the smooth one?
No,
plain?
No. Just okay. I'm a flavor person. I'm a texture person.
Okay.
I'm one of the most pickiest people you'll ever meet for food.
Oh. So what's your favorite food then? If we're gonna talk about picky.
Ooh. Chipotle.
Chipotle? What?
Yeah.
Okay. That's your favorite food for real?
Fun fact.
All the time and never.
Okay. Fun fact. I spent over $3,000 in 2018 on Chipotle.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Are you joking me?
Nope. Yep. Yeah. Like that was.
That's a lot of Chipotle.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I would go to Chipotle, get a bowl, and I would get a burrito. The burrito would be for lunch the next day, and the bowl.
Okay.
And the bowl would be for dinner.
Okay, fair. You mix it up. You don't just have like the same thing every time.
Well, I have the same ingredients on the inside.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you're not going there every single time. Like, you're not just eating bowls or just eating burritos. That's what I mean. Like, you mix them up. You have both.
I mean, so the nearest Chipotle to where I live is like an hour. It's about 2 hours away. And so every time we go over to like the west side, like near Seattle, stop past Chipotle. And every single time, like I get to the, I guess like to like the front of the line to order.
Yeah.
And then like I tell my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, I think I'm gonna order a burrito. And every time I order a bowl, like
you don't. Yep. You don't. You're like, nah, I can't go against my original. My guarantee.
Okay, what is okay? So and also, where is your favorite place to eat ice cream? Since that was one of the crazy questions.
Okay.
Since your favorite food, where do you eat it?
All right,
Where's the best place that you've ever had ice cream?
All right. First off, I'm gonna go. I'll go two. One overseas and one in the States.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay, there's a place in Wilmington called Kilman's.
Okay.
I believe that's what it's called. I'm sure. I think it's a chain. I'm not quite sure, but they have the most delicious ice cream there. So good. Love it. Overseas though, where I lived in Germany, they would make this bomb ice cream because it's like not regular, it doesn't have cream in it. It's like not like American ice cream, it's like gelato almost.
Ooh.
Not like sorbet, but like it just like so much better.
I think
smoother.
I can kind of understand that. Like, so we have a small town, like it's like an hour and a half north of here. It's called Leavenworth, and it's like it's like a German town. Like, yeah, like, so we have like, I'll actually send you the I will send you like pictures like of this place, and you're gonna be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's like legit Germany, like Germany, if you had Germany and Switzerland in like one place.
Yeah.
It's like it's
like
amazing.
Eastern, like European.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Probably like Austria.
Yes.
Yeah. That sounds awesome. It's like beautiful there. Like oh my gosh. If you could ever, like, I believe everybody needs to leave the United States for like 6 months, because you get a bird's eye view of America, and you're like, oh,
America sucks.
Oh, this is how America is. But like over there, even in places like Paris, London, whatever, everything is clean. Like streets are clean. They're not taken over by trash and like crap. Like they're clean. They pay everybody very well who cleans those areas. Like, and it's just such a great time to go through Europe, and you're just like seeing these gorgeous buildings and views and all this sort of stuff that you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like this exists in a world like that I'm a part of, it's crazy. But there's a little town, we lived in a little town in Germany, and we were like in, all of our neighbors were German, we were like in the culture and stuff, and there's a little shop that would sell ice cream, and they're only open, they're not open year round. It's not about capitalism. They're open from probably May to end of October, right? Like that's where they're getting it from. And end of October is like end of fest season, and so it's not a lot happening after that. And I mean, so good. And you can get it for like $1, like, a scoop of ice cream for $1 and a cone. Here you pay $5 for some.
Yeah, because that's the market price for it.
Exactly. It's just wild. But man, it was so good. We'd go there as many times as we could, because we'd spend like $5 for our entire family to get.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
It was awesome.
Chipotle, I would have it. Let's see. I ate it across the street from Wrigley Field back in June. That was really cool. Okay. And I think Chipotle in the mountains.
Chipotle in the mountains.
Actually, I posted.
That's the other place that you would want to eat Chipotle? Yeah,
with a nice view.
Okay. Fair.
Chipotle with a view.
Okay. Yeah.
Always.
Mountains are my vibes. I freaking love the mountains.
Yeah, so you have to look at Leavenworth.
I'm gonna check it out. I just got your text. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, it's I mean, like, because they have a huge, like, a Christmas light festival. Market? They have, it's insane, and they have
oh my gosh, this
Oktoberfest.
Is so cute.
Yes,
dude, we're having an Oktoberfest here, because the ones that were close to us shut down.
Yep, and I went to college 20 minutes away from Leavenworth.
From here, Leavenworth?
Yep, we would use our fake IDs to go to Oktoberfest.
Oh my gosh, this is honestly exactly like very close to to our house in Germany, like what it would look like, truly. Yep. Like on the lake.
Yep, that whole
Christmas snow. Man, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
This looks so cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to like Yep, Bavaria. That's where we lived. So cute.
Yep, that is.
I need to go there.
See,
check it out.
So there you go.
Yep.
Well, Megan,
Yep.
It was fun.
It was fun. Sorry to talk your ear off.
Dude, no, I do not mind. I enjoy conversations. It's fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially people who are passionate about the same thing.
Yep.
More Than Baseball, Jeremy Wolf, shout out. Slade,
Yep.
Simon.
Slade, Simon, Jonathan even. Shout out to him.
All right. Well, have a great night.
Yep, you too. It was great talking to you.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Let's see.